everyone, and welcome to another webinar brought to you by your Simcoe South Georgian Bay Digital Service Squad. Today is Intro to Facebook Business Manager. So thanks for joining us. And just a little bit of housekeeping, and welcome Sam Evans.
Good morning, everybody.
Sam is joining us from our team. I'm Ben Fresh with Be Fresh Media and the Digital Service Squad, of course. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. A reminder that this amazing Digital Main Street program is brought to you by the FedDev Ontario, the Ontario government, Ontario BIA Association, as well as the Toronto Association of BIAs. Here in Simcoe, South Georgian Bay specifically, the program is managed by the South Georgian Bay Small Business Enterprise Center, with additional funding and support from the County of Simcoe, the Town of Collingwood, and the Town of Blue Mountains. So we're extremely grateful for their support and in bringing this program to you and providing us with that support to be able to help as many businesses as possible. Whew, a bit of a almost sneeze coming on. I'm like, don't sneeze. Just a quick recap too, if you haven't met with or learned much about your Digital Service Squad. Digital Service Squad is a part of the Digital Main Street program. So you basically have a digital marketing team at your disposal, and it's all free. So Digital Main Street offers free resources and training, as well as other programs like Shop Here, Future Proof. There was a grant component that, if you haven't been aware, that has wrapped up as of December 31st. But again, there are tons of programs and supports still available. And so you can get in touch. You can learn about some of those programs at digitalmainstreet.ca. You can learn about your Simcoe South Georgian Bay Digital Service Squad at enterprisecenter.ca. Digital Service Squad, there's a tab there to learn more about us and book a consultation, which if you haven't done, always recommended. As I said, we can tell you all about all the different programs and supports that we offer. And there's a lot, but one of the main ones is a digital audit, which we've been doing for so many businesses. And it's a really fantastic way to start that conversation, no matter what level of experience you're at or your business is at with your digital marketing. We take a look at all of your digital properties and essentially put together a report that lists out just action items, things that you can do to improve on that digital footprint. Again, no matter where you're at with your marketing. So you can check us out, enterprisecenter.ca. There's a booking calendar there. You can email us, digitalmainst@collingwood.ca. There's our phone number. We're here for another little while. So until the end of February is when we're scheduled to wrap up the program on our end. So just an important note to get in touch while we're here. Also, I'm dropping in the chat a link to this PDF document is there, as well as a link to our booking calendar. So, oh, that link might not work.
I've got it. I'm putting it through to attendees.
Oh, my bad. Yes, I am sending it just to
me, yes. Which I appreciate.
Yes, he knows how to get that. There's the link that will actually work. So definitely get in touch with us, book a consultation if you have not already, and see what we can do to help you with your digital marketing. So moving right along, just a note, because I always forget to mention this off the top. There is a Q&A section here in the webinar. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in there, and we will answer them as we go, or we'll try to answer them if we can, hopefully. And if not, we can always follow up with a consultation. It's a great excuse to meet with you afterwards to answer any questions that might be outstanding. So jumping right into it, today's topic, Facebook Business Manager. If you're not familiar with Facebook Business Manager, the easiest way to explain it, what it is essentially it's a different way to access and manage your Facebook page, delegate access, and create ads. And I say a different way because, I mean, typically you're probably used to, logging into facebook.com. You'll land on your personal wall, I guess, where you see your feed and everything. You'll navigate to your business page, and you'll go about managing that from that perspective. So I'll refer to that method as just sort of the facebook.com approach, which is kind of the standard way to access your page. And so most people don't realize that there is another way, another tool to access your page and to essentially manage your business that doesn't involve going through facebook.com, but rather using Facebook Business Manager. It's also important to note that it is free, so that's good. Mind you, advertising is not free, and you might find you're spending more advertising dollars, but I mean, that's kind of a good thing. It can be, for sure. Sorry, I was just looking at a question.
Sorry, I got it.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay. So it's free, Facebook Business Manager. It's free to access, and it works with all of your existing properties. So if presumably you already have a Facebook page, you might be advertising on that already. You can pull in that Facebook page, that ad account into your business manager, and start to manage it from that point, if you want. And so a little bit more detail about that, how it works. And Sam, feel free to jump in at any time if I'm maybe going too fast or missing some steps. But essentially, it kind of works like this, and we'll see a more visual representation of this. But essentially, you're creating a business, and you can create up to 4 businesses. And within each business, you can add several pages. Within that business as well, you create ad accounts, and you can create up to, I think, 5 ad accounts total. It was a little hard finding some clarification on that. I think some of the factors there depend on like how many pages you've assigned to your business and how many ad accounts, or I think it's also takes into account like your billing history and things like that. But essentially you can have, multiple ad accounts, multiple pages. It's a way to delegate access for people and partners being other businesses. So think of like, collaborating with an agency or hiring an agency. You can assign access to certain properties within your business account. And here's interesting. I mean, you can add people you are not Facebook friends with. And I mean, that sounds odd maybe to say, but using the business, hiring a business to manage your account, for example, you don't necessarily want to have to, be forced to be friends with someone on Facebook just so they can, work with you on a professional level. Because the, example of that is on when you're using facebook.com and going through that method to add a user or an admin on your page, on your Facebook page, you do have to be Facebook friends with that person in order to add them. So this is a way to just keep everything just very professional and not require that association in order to grant access and work with people within that business.
It's basically another platform that you need to have to know how to use to be able to get somebody else to handle it all for you without them being able to see your pictures of you drunk inappropriately at a wedding or something. Side of things.
That is exactly. I mean, let's keep it professional, right? But with that as well. So with going through the original kind of the traditional facebook.com method, you only have certain parameters that you can assign access, for your page. I think it's you can assign an admin, an editor, or I think there's a third one or something, but it's not very specific, right? Or it's not, it doesn't allow for a lot of control. With Facebook Business Manager, you can control that access on pages, on ad accounts, on apps, and even more. So, and you can also, assign access for a person to manage one page, manage all your pages, a group of pages. It can get really specific, and you do it all in one place, as opposed to, the old way of going to that page, going to users, trying to add that person, maybe realizing that you're not Facebook friends. This happened to Sam and I the other day. I was trying to add him on a test page that I will show you later. And I realized that I wasn't Facebook friends with Sam. So I couldn't actually add him as an admin on the page until he first accepted my friend request. And then he does
Facebook Business Manager.
Yes.
You wouldn't have to have seen all of those nudes.
Anyway. So the question is, of course, who is Business Manager for? It's meant to help out in a variety of ways. And so you might need Facebook Business Manager or want to explore it if any of these apply, which would be, if you manage multiple pages, if you want more control over who has access to those pages, if you want more control over your advertising, and it's perfect if you're hiring an agency, because that way you can provide access and then remove it when the job is complete. And I'll tell you, your agency would be absolutely flabbergasted and over the moon if it was, that easy. If you just said, perfect, I'll assign you access and away we go. It's oftentimes many hoops to jump through to get that access and get it set up. And here's one example too, that I've seen a few times actually in helping businesses with the Digital Main Street, where someone externally had set up a business manager account so that they could have access to these tools, but then didn't hand it off to the business owner that can be really problematic, because then you have to kind of do a lot of work to gain access back to that business manager account. And it can get really muddy. So to be proactive in just setting it up for yourself, having it under your name, because it is tied to your Facebook.com account. There's still that association. So as long as you set it up originally for your business, and at least have it there, for future need if you need it. I think that's a really great proactive step to take. And if you don't use it, you don't use it. But having it there and having it set up is probably a really good way to go. So I got a few videos here that are going to walk through the process of getting set up, adding your business or setting up your business, adding pages and different assets. So I'm going to just play these simple videos and kind of explain what's happening as we go. So this is getting set up from the very beginning. Let's see, hopefully it works. Hopefully I have the right video. So essentially you go to business.facebook.com. It's going a little fast. I'm going to pause it here. Oh, yeah, so backing up, Facebook, business.facebook.com, you can see the address there. And this is what you'll see. And what I've logged out of my account, but you might also, a lot of people find, they've already got a business account set up sometimes, which is weird. I think if you've created a page and you've advertised it in the past, you might already have an account set up and not even know about it. You definitely have an ad account if you've been advertising. You'll have an ad account that's accessible through your business manager, but you don't necessarily have to use it. We'll show you how to create a new one. But so essentially, once I land here, this is in a really bad spot because this PowerPoint keeps popping up. Okay. So what I'm hitting is I'm creating a new account, but it essentially brings me to the login. I'm using my regular Facebook login, username, password, and this is where it spits me out. I know that I've logged in because I can see my photo up in the top corner, and I just clicked on the Facebook icon there up at the top. Well, actually, I'm going to show you just here's some common questions. They try to, answer essentially what I've been talking about since the beginning, why you might need Facebook Business Manager. But then here is the dashboard. It's going to load. Give it a second. I think my connection was a little slow when I was creating that. And so you can see right here is the dashboard. And I've got a few businesses set up in my Facebook Business Manager account. And it's pretty simple, straightforward in terms of that structure, that hierarchy. You've got your businesses. If you haven't created a business, you'll see nothing here except for that big create business button. And so what we're going to do is go ahead and create a business to add and get set up. So you'd hit that, you just punch in the name. It doesn't have to match your Facebook page. It can be something totally different. But for the sake of, that structure and hierarchy, probably want it to be related to your business page. And then you're going to punch in your email address. Now, if you're paying attention, you'll notice I typed our address incorrectly and it was a typo that I didn't actually catch. And so in order to finalize the setup process, you do have to verify your email address. Even if you type in incorrectly, it will say it was completed, and it will spit you out into the Business Manager homepage. Now, so the homepage told me that or actually, once I finally got the email kind of corrected, and I essentially, if you type your email in properly, you'll get an email to verify your account. And when you click on the verification, it's going to spit you out right here in this particular spot. And this is in your business settings. So then we're in the business settings of the Facebook Business Manager. I just wanted to show under business info is where I had to kind of go. You can edit your business name, all of that information, your legal address. You can add two-factor authentication for extra security. But down at the very bottom, you see my info, name and email address. You can edit that, correct it, and you can resend your verification email in order to finalize that setup. So once we go back, here is sort of the main dashboard for your business. So the business I created was for Digital Service Squad. And so I set up with the Digital Service Squad email. And for the purpose of this example, what I'm thinking is, I want to add a page that we own in order to then create ads for that page. So,
and if you want to get back to this, if you already have a page set up, and rather than going through your emails to get to that same spot, if you go to the left-hand column, it's got something called like Business Suite, I believe it's called, and that takes you into this whole setup. So you might already, have access to it through the current page that you're running.
Correct. And I'm just showing the menu here as well. There's a couple places where you can find those shortcuts to your ads manager, your business settings, Creative Hub, Events Manager. We won't get into too much detail into some of those tools because they do tend to that's where we start to get pretty technical. And essentially what we're looking to do is just get you set up with your page and your ad account to then be able to start advertising, because next week we're going to talk about the ads manager. But so moving along, so I'm just kind of showing off like where to find some of the menus and navigation within this area. And what I might also recommend, further to Sam's comment, is you can bookmark this page here. You can bookmark kind of any of the pages within your business manager, even your ad account. You can bookmark that so that you can just hit that link and come in and start managing, because it can be a little cumbersome to have to type in like Facebook business.facebook.com every time and then do all that. So handy tip, just set a bookmark for this dashboard here.
Yeah, Facebook currently very overwhelming with all of its different does the same thing, but you have to do it through a different means. Like there's also Facebook Creator Suite and various other things, and it's all basically, it could all be one platform, but they've split it into at least 4 different, entirely different looking as well, platforms that you need to know how to use. So it's kind of, Facebook are all over the place at the moment. Each one's also branded differently, but maybe they'll amalgamate one day. We can only hope.
Yes. Yeah, and I'll talk a little bit about sort of using your Facebook page through Business Manager, and some of the benefits there, because it can be a little bit more dependable, I find. But anyway, so going back to the video here, we've got, I had clicked on from the dashboard, just you'll notice it's telling me that, I don't have any ad accounts set up. I don't have any pages. And so I've clicked on the go to business settings to add a page. So it's going to bring me right to the settings to do that. And you can see on the left, there's a ton of different options and stuff, but we're going to go ahead and add a page. And some of the options, I mean, you can add a page that you already own. You can request access to a page. So if you're collaborating with someone, or if you are an agency, or you're helping someone out with their marketing, you can request access, or you can create a new page right from Business Manager, which is pretty cool. But for this purpose, I have already created the page on the facebook.com side of things. So I'm going to go ahead and add a page. And if you already have an existing one, this is how you do it. You would then just start typing in the name of the page. Now, what I realized was I'm not typing the correct name, and that's why nothing is coming up. But you see, once I start typing DMS is the best, that page comes up. I select it and click add page. So now I've added this page. DMS is the best, which is our fake account, our fake page that we've created as a DSS to use for these such examples. And you can see already Rochelle Reynolds has come up as a people within the people column here, because she's an admin that has already been added to the page. So it's pulled in that information, which is great as well. So if I wanted to, I could then kind of fine tune the access that she has to the page. And I can edit that. I can add more people. And actually what I have to do first is invite her to the business account. So what I did, and she would have seen that email come through last night, is I'm setting up the admin access here. So I'm granting her full admin access. I went and copied her email address, just pasted it in there, and then I go to next. So then from there, you can see all these different options. So I can, like I said, fine tune the access that she has to this page. If we had multiple pages, I could, say, yes, she has admin access to this one, no to that one, and really kind of set some parameters around what she has access to.
Just to recap, this is once you've added the page, as we've just seen, this is where you would add an agency or a friend of a friend or whoever it might be. You'd throw their email address into there to find them and add their permission.
Correct. And I kind of jumped around a little bit because, as I said, she kind of came up when I added the page. It sort of pulled her into the system as someone who already had access. So now I'm just inviting her to use Business Manager as well, so that she has, you know, full access. And what I'm doing here is I've set some parameters, but I didn't realize that I hadn't actually clicked on the actual page. So you have to select which pages they have access to, and then you can send that invitation. So then it spits me out here. I'm still under the business settings, under people, and you can see now there's myself and Rochelle, and that's a pending her approval. She has to obviously accept that invitation to then have access to the page that I've assigned her. And you know, going back to what Sam was saying, you know, so if we wanted to add other people, we can start, you know, by just selecting add, you know, punch in their email address. And again, that's the great thing about using Business Manager, is that you're sending an email to the person. You don't have to be Facebook friends with them. As long as you have their email address, then you can invite them to have access to your page, to your ad accounts, or whatever. And that's that. Any questions so far? So we've set up our business, we've added a page, and we have added people and granted access to that. And I realize doing that in 30 minutes is pretty quick. So don't hesitate if you have any questions. So managing your page from Business Manager. So again, just starting from this dashboard here, you can see now that we've added the page, the dashboard shows that we've got DMS is the best listed as our as one of our assets here. And if we had any others, they'd be just lined up underneath that. And from here, you can just click on the go to page button there. And that will take you to your Facebook page from or as seen through Facebook Business Manager, excuse me. And as you can see, we're very big fans of Terry O'Reilly from the Under the Influence. Thank you, Rochelle, for that. We are the unofficial Terry O'Reilly fan club here. But just something to mention about using your Facebook page from Business Manager. There's a couple reasons why you might want to do this. So for one, if you're familiar with Facebook Classic, so I think it was in 2018, 2019, Facebook updated the look of the interface, you know, on Facebook.com. You know, it's a lot of big buttons and round, shiny elements. You know, it's pleasing to the eye, but it tends to be a little bit more, you know, kind of fluffy and appealing, as opposed to just more reliable and easy to find. So I don't know if that makes sense. It's kind of, so Facebook Business Manager, the pages, I mean, they seem to be built on that older infrastructure where it's just more straightforward. They're not concerned about, you know, making it look pretty. It's just, here's where things are, here's where you can find it. And that's one thing I just like about using Facebook Business Manager, it always just seems easier to find things, and more reliable. And one thing I mean by that is, an example, trying to change the name of a page. I was working with a digital service squad client. She wanted to change her page name, and struggled to do that. It was not possible to do it from the Facebook.com side of things. She would go into her page, into the settings, and the option just was not there. And we couldn't figure it out. So then we jumped over to Business Manager. We had to set it up first and get it going. But once we got into that account, we were actually easily able to find that setting and change her name, change her page name, and it worked. So just like weird small things like that, is what I mean by it tends to be, more reliable. It seems to be built on a more solid structure, and I just like it for that. And you'll see too, there's a slightly different navigation at the top with your ad center, your notifications and insights, your inbox. I mean, they're all accessible through the other method. It's just that I find they're easier to find here.
Yeah, they basically spent billions and billions of dollars revamping Facebook, and then decided that for business, square edges look better.
Yeah, exactly. But then, again, you can use your Facebook page in exactly the same way from this access. And, I'm just making a post as an example. But again, I find what's handy is bookmarking this particular web address so that you can always come back in. I think all of my Facebook pages are bookmarked through Business Manager, just so that I can have that quick access to come back to it. And again, yeah, all the same tools, just in a less flashy kind of look to it.
I haven't received my invite yet for the Terry O'Reilly Super Facebook Fan Club yet, Ben.
Don't worry, it's in the mail. It's in the mail. And really, yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about that. Everything is still accessible, still have all the same options and things. I did bring up here, just as a side, don't forget to change the call to action button on your Facebook page. We point that out to a lot of people, that you can have a lot of options for what that button says. Sorry, I'm getting off topic there a little bit, but I was like, always want to point that out whenever I can. So that's just, really simple overview of being able to access and manage your Facebook page from Business Manager. It's very simple, straightforward, much like you're used to with Facebook.com, but just in a more classic look and feel. So just to quickly look at some of the additional settings that you have available. So just, maybe other reasons why you might consider setting up your Facebook Business Manager. Again, might get a little bit technical. I don't go into much detail here, but from your dashboard, you can always access your settings. You can access all of the other businesses that you have set up as well. And you would just go to your business settings to manage this account at any time. And so again, you've got like people, you can add partners. That's where you would add business partners, an agency, for example, to manage your advertising. here's where you can add additional pages. And you can see that people have been assigned to those pages. There's ad accounts. I didn't click on that because I'm going to show you in more detail in a second. Instagram accounts. So here's another example too of where, you know, I think Sam was talking about this earlier too, where there's different ways to go about doing the same action. And I find connecting your Instagram and Facebook accounts, sometimes we've worked with a lot of people who have just run into problems. We're not sure why. Sometimes you just hit a wall and you can't connect the two. You try from Instagram, you try from Facebook, it's just not working. You can also do it from your business manager account. And again, you know, if you're having issues from other directions, you try this. It can tend to be a little bit more reliable, I find. And usually if you've already connected your Facebook page and your Instagram, when you set up your business manager account, it will be populated in that already. So you won't have to do it twice. It'll already come together. You can add payment methods for your advertising. There's security. There's you can manage your requests, notifications, and here again is just the business info where you can you know, update all that important information, legal name of business and address and such.
And after that mention of it can be a pain to add your Instagram account, the reason you'd be doing that is if you want to view your analytics for your Instagram account on a desktop. At last check, the only way of doing it was through the Facebook, what's it called? Creator Suite. Right. Basically, Facebook and Instagram, same company now. So Instagram is sort of the younger brother, and the only way to see it is through Facebook. So if you don't want to be doing it on your phone and you want to do stuff through your PC, your laptop, then that's why you need to connect them.
Absolutely. So just to recap, the business manager funnel is kind of consisted of your main business. Within that, you've got your pages and you've got your ad manager. Then within ad manager, you can create ad accounts, and then campaigns, ad sets, and ads. So
it's very beautifully overly complicated, isn't it?
I know. So it's hierarchical in that you have to start at the top with that business manager account. Then your ads manager account. You do have to add pages to actually to assign to your ads manager account. And then next week, again, we're going to go into more detail about ads manager and what is the difference between a campaign, an ad set, and ads. I mean, essentially, it's just a big kind of pyramid, if you think about it like that, or I mean, kind of, yeah, let's call it a pyramid, where there's different kind of settings that kind of overarch the items below, and so your kind of details, your settings get more fine-tuned as you go down to your ad, and that's where the magic happens. that's what I got for that. But Facebook Ads Manager, as a kind of a step into next week, a reason why you would want to use Facebook Ads Manager is so that you can have, again, more control over your ads. When you set up an ad, a new campaign in Ads Manager, it starts with things like, what are you trying to accomplish? What is your campaign objective? So is it brand awareness and reach? Is it You know, do you want people to consider your brand? So, or consideration like traffic, engagement, lead generation, all those kinds of objectives, or do you want to convert people? So direct sales, store traffic, all those kinds of things. So it's not just about, you know, boosting a post. It's taking that to a whole new level. And if you grab the PDF, there's a YouTube video there that'll get you a bit of a jump start on next week's webinar when we dive into it in more detail as well. And now, again, just to segue into next week, if you wanted to get your ad account set up, so again, we've got our business set up, we've added a page, and now we want to create an ad account so that we can start advertising that page. Here's how we do that. And again, it's pretty simple, straightforward. From our business settings, we just click on add accounts. So it says we don't have one, so we're going to click add. Just like the pages, we can add ones that already exist. We can request access, or we can create a new one. So for this example, I don't have an existing one and I'm not partnering with anyone. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new ad account. And it's really simple. Create the ad account name, give it a name, whatever. Usually it's helpful if it relates again to the business, but it doesn't have to. DMS ads are the best. Choose your time zone and then your currency. It takes me a while to find Canadian dollars. I see now that I went right by it. But then choose your currency. You're going to hit next. And then this is important. Who will this ad account be used for? Is it my business or another business or client? You'd really only select that if you are an agency and you're advertising for another business. So if you select it's for yourself, you can always change it too, actually. But then you can add people and set permissions. So again, just a whole bunch of control about who has access to this ad account, who can create ads, who can, you know, view performance and all that kind of good stuff. And then once you hit, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, if it seems like, hold on, you've just gone over this with us, isn't this the same thing? Yeah, it's very same, but different. It's sort of like the business account is going into the bank and saying, hello, CIBC, I would like to become a customer. And they go, oh, great, here's an account. And then once you have that account, you then get a credit card, which is kind of like the ad accounts. And each of those, you can have different permissions for different people.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, actually. And speaking of credit cards, once you've created that ad account, the first thing they ask is, you know, let's add a payment method or add your payment info. So I do click on this, but I don't actually add any info because I don't have any real desire to advertise with this. But essentially, you know, it's really simple. Add your location, your business and tax info, and then your credit card or PayPal info, and away you go. I will say that, so with the Small Business Enterprise Center, we set up a new ad account and added our, you know, the business credit card on there and whatever. And we started running ads with this new account, and we started getting invoices for $2. Every $2 we spent, we get an invoice. And it was extremely frustrating because Tim, who manages the program, he had to, it's a lot of work, you know, for the municipality to log these expenses on a $2 purchase. But what was happening was that Facebook was establishing sort of credit history with that particular card because it was new, because our account was new. You know, they have to kind of build up that trust. So that might be something that you notice, and you might be kind of wondering, you know, why are they doing that? It took a few transactions. It builds up slowly over time. So over a couple of weeks, you know, we got to, it went from, you know, $2 to $5 to $10 to $20 before they'll, you know, kind of ease up and let you charge, you know, your a $200 ad spend. It's just about building that credit. So just a heads up on that.
And with, just what I remember, with ad spend as well, I believe it's 48 hours for it to actually update in your ad manager. So it's just work, like, you just need to bear that in mind if you're sending an invoice to somebody and you log in and you're like, oh, this is how much the spend was. It's not necessarily accurate until 48 hours after the event. So don't lose out on any money because it didn't update.
Well, yeah, you always have to look at the reporting span, what dates you're looking at, because that happens to me a lot where I think we've only spent so much, but then, oh wait, I'm only looking at, you know, the month of December. I'm not factoring in January or whatever. So always, I just shouldn't say it happens to me a lot. It has happened to me once or twice. But then, so now that we've got our ad account set up, you can see it in the business manager. We can always come back and add people and permissions, assign partners to that. We can hit the edit button up in the top corner there too, and change the name of it if we need to. We can deactivate it. A lot of different options there. And then from there, you can click on Ads Manager. I'm showing a couple different ways to find how to get to Ads Manager. And this is just a quick look at what that is. And again, we're going to dive into that next week with our webinar. So hopefully you have been able to set that up and get your ad account ready to go for next week's webinar.
And if you're still confused, you can email us and we'll try and untangle it for
you. Absolutely. Yes, a great opportunity and excuse to reach out to your digital service squad and get a book a consult. We can walk you through that whole process, troubleshoot any issues that you're having, and get it set up. And to recap, Facebook Business Manager, again, if you've downloaded that presentation, I've got another YouTube video that provides a bit more detail about that setup, just in case, you know, you're interested, you want more information. There's a ton out there, and this is just one good one that I found. And again, digitalmainstreet.ca. Don't forget to register for more free training and resources. Plus, review us on Google if you got a second. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love some reviews on our Google My Business page. You can find us Digital Service Squad of Simcoe, South Georgian Bay. Any questions? I realize that was a highly technical webinar. Went into some detail there, and I realized that we lost a few people too. I hope it wasn't. I'm assuming that it was just that, you know, the realization that maybe it's not you know, for me, and that's totally understandable. You know, it's not for everybody. It's not necessarily the be all end all. You can still do a lot from your facebook.com approach, but certainly the advertising is one of the biggest draws. Having that control over what you can do with your advertising is is one of the main reasons why you would set up your business Facebook Business Manager. And we're excited to jump into that in more detail next week. So definitely register if you're still following along, or if you've already got that set up and you want to, learn more about your Facebook Ads Manager. That's going to be an exciting, equally fun and technical webinar next week. Are there any questions? Or did we kind of answer them all, hopefully?
Yeah, my question, Ben, would be, now that we've seen the very complicated web that is Facebook nowadays for a small business owner, do you think that Mark Zuckerberg has gone full Howard Hughes and has completely lost the plot?
I don't know if that's worth answering, but I would say, it's probably only a matter of time, for sure. No, who knows?
I'm too daunted by it, because it's the kind of thing where, as long as you know how to use the bits you need to know how to use, then it's fine. Yes, there are kind of like 4 or maybe 5 different platforms now that are Facebook as business. But if you're just trying to sign up to Facebook Business so that an agency can handle everything for you, then once you click around, you'll find it is very easy.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, if that's all you're doing it for, to be able to assign access to an agency or to a freelancer who's managing your page or managing your ads, then it's still totally worth it. It's really great for that. It makes the process so much easier, so much more effective for that agency or freelancer. And again, they will absolutely love you for it if you even have that amount of expertise figured out and can just assign them access. The rest will be just a walk in the park, I'm sure.
The rest will be somebody else's problem, and that's what you're paying them for.
Yeah, exactly. So with that, if there's no more questions, we will say thanks again for joining us. Thanks, Sam, for all your support here today. And we will hopefully see you guys next week. And as always, reach out if you have any other questions or need support. That's what we're here for. So take care, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon.
Bye for now.